Hello, hello. Welcome to today's podcast. Yes. Man, I am really happy to be building something that does not put me into performance and I don't burn out. This is something that comes very natural to me, like breathing. Comes so natural to me that on a whim, I can come up with a title, all for sharing and awareness. And it's something that has also come with a cost. I have built my dream. I have been building it for a really long time. It came with a cost of staying in performance, so much so that I burned myself out, meeting people's boxes and fitting into them, changing who I was, performing to show that I was capable. Performing looked like saying what people wanted to hear instead of what they really needed to hear. Not saying what I wanted to say, sugarcoating. Of course, I also was performing to feel safe because of my experience growing up in foster care. The words that I spoke were highly ignored. They were squelched, squashed. People would say things to me that caused me to feel stupid and incapable. These were adults speaking horrible things over a kid. So you can imagine what it's been like to build this stage, this platform. It's a dream that I've had for so long. And I didn't realize that I have paid the price in a way that caused me to get really real with myself, because there's a cost associated with building in performance mode. There's a cost associated when we are trying to prove and when we are in burnout. And it's in anywhere you're trying to build a great career. Burnout looks like, and performance looks like, apologizing because you have to pee, apologizing for asking a question. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. No, it's, hello, so and so. Do you have a moment? I have a question. That's how you take up the space. Okay? Without apologizing. But that's performance. Why? Because we're afraid that we will look a certain way. Heaven forbid we look a certain way when we're building something. Performance when we're building looks like constantly being on our phone. Constantly. By the way, I am going to speak very freely on my podcast, and this is where I do. And I'm going to say something, so if it ruffles your feathers, just put your hand on your heart. The constant buzzing that people have on their phones, especially in a workplace environment, is a nervous system disruptor for those around you. That is performance. Nobody needs their phone buzzing for notifications. No one. It's just common courtesy. Turn off the buzzing. Okay? That's performance. That's burnout. Why? Because we can't go 5 minutes without hearing our phone, being on our phone, hearing our phone. It's like, oh my gosh, turn it off, right? Performance looks like not being able to give yourself time off, away from conversations, away from answering text messages. Oh, it's getting out of performance means turning on the do not disturb button on your phone. Today, I'm talking about building without burnout and how to stop abandoning yourself for the vision. Number one, the difference between Holy Spirit-led building and performance-driven grinding. It's the when we know we've crossed over into self-betrayal and self-abandonment is you will realize that what you're building has some ease and flow to it. There's going to be some tough times that come up, right? But you're going to be able to navigate through that. It's going to feel like a lot at times. When you have it's like an inkling that you have way deep down to your gut. I call it to your soul, down to the depths of your soul. You have this dream to build something so big that you start getting ideas to start. So you write them down, or you, if you're like me, put it in voice notes. Performance driven results look like listening to what people are telling you you should be doing and pleasing them. That's performance. That's not being led by the intuition or gut, or in what most people know as the Holy Spirit. It's a spirit-led divine idea, and it won't leave you alone. It doesn't change. And you won't feel like you have to change yourself just to get it out there, just to get it done, just to get it built. You stay true to yourself. Abandoning yourself means you're listening to every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the freaking web, and you're changing yourself to to do what they're telling you to do and how they're telling you to be. That's performance driven versus like spirit led building. And this isn't a church message. It's not a only those who are spirit filled can build. No, that's BS messaging. That's a messaging that I actually grew up with in the church. That's what I did. I also grew up with performance led building for my dreams and visions versus spirit led. And I abandoned myself in the four walls of the church, all to perform, to show that I was capable of doing the gift that God had given me. And the messaging out there that is said is that your gifts and dreams are only for the four walls of the church. No, that is a bunch of BS. That's just BS. Nowhere does it say that, ever, anywhere. I don't care where we go. That's not the right message. Tip number 2, why high performers and loyal ones are most at risk of burning out on the way to their God-given dreams. I posted something yesterday on the socials, and it was the exact same thing. It was about loyalty. And I was talking about how loyalty causes self-abandonment and performance because we hide under the masks that we have on. When we are loyal to environments that say, rob us of our time, of our energy, of our health, of our, of our thriving souls and spirits, when we are loyal to environments and people, okay, that rob us, okay, we suffer. Why? Because we end up burning out. We end up paying the price. For example, health. Health declines. Well, we think it's something or other, but it could be the environment. But we're loyal. Why are we loyal to environments? I'm going to go here. Jobs are the number one culprit that people stay loyal to, all for benefits. Free health care, right? If you get free insurance, whatever the case may be, well, 401k, which I don't think anybody does their research on 401k, which you can. Why was it created? When? What is it actually for? Health benefits. It's not benefiting anyone. The only people that benefits, well, you can do the research, is the company. Doesn't benefit the person. But we stay in performance because we're loyal. And where do I see people putting a mask on the most? Because I've done it. Jobs, career. They walk through the door. They don't know how to be themselves. I saw some interview where a lady was saying to not be authentic in your job. And I thought she was giving examples and I didn't agree with her. And I was like, you know what? I would rather not betray and abandon myself just to show up in an environment to pretend, because I have seen the effects of what happens when people pretend. They get hidden in the background. They hide who they really are. And in the meanwhile, nobody knows that they're suffering. Nobody knows that they've been paying the price behind the scenes. Why? Because they put on a mask and they do it really well. So much so to the tune they're no longer with us. So then we're left with a memory, and we're left with the, why didn't I know? What could I have done? What could I do better? How can I be better? How Can I be more of a person that shows people that I freaking care? You know what I noticed though lately is that a lot of people, when you are trying to be your integrous, and I don't mean trying like we're just trying and then we quit. No, no. When we are integrous and authentic, it's actually a breath of fresh air. It really truly is, because you can just be yourself around people. But here's what I also noticed. There are people who can't handle it. And here's how I know. Because I'm only going to share a little bit of maybe how we know things, but I'm not going to go into full blown how. I've got something for you where you can do the how, okay? At the end. I've noticed, and I've been doing a bit of a test. Whenever I go to share real stuff with people, like how I've been feeling, like, for example, 2025 for me was a very shitty year. It was. It was a very heavy year. It was filled with shit, with loss, turmoil, heaviness, health diagnoses, health scares, a forced move. The owners passed away, and then her kids wanted to sell the house. So we had a 60-day notice slapped on us. We had to kick it into high gear. We had to move out. We it wasn't a decision that we made, my husband and I. We both had some health stuff come up. I got really sick with bronchitis. I've had other stuff come up. Anyway, it was a year of shit. It was. But whenever I start talking about how tough my year is, people who are in performance, it just is, I don't know if it's a normal thing. There's a lot of deflection and a lot of bypassing. And when I said, yes, like I had a conversation and I was like, yeah, I had a really not so, it was a hard year. Oh, well, this year is, no, I am not saying, well, this year is just going to be grand and great. Because that's what I said about 2025. Yes, the lessons, but I'm not going to bypass them. I'm not going to sugarcoat them. I'm not going to sound a certain way and sit in performance just to fit under a box that people don't know how to not carry. I don't know how to not be authentic anymore. I don't know how to not be integrous. And I'm sure as heck not going to put myself in a mask anymore. Do you know how I, I almost like I was dying inside from doing that? Now I know a job is a job and, we're not there to do this, we're not there to do that. But you know what? If I can't be integrous in my career as I am in my business building, podcast building, when I've done coaching with my clients in every area of my life, parenting, marriage, if I have to put myself into broken, fractured parts, 5 different Tiffany's, that is a nervous system overload disaster waiting to happen, and it will show up in the form of health problems. By the way, consistent trauma, consistent upheaval, chaos, toxic environments, all of it is such a nervous system disruptor, it can cause health problems. Yes, our bodies suffer. And it isn't until we stop betraying ourselves in any and every environment just to stay loyal that we cannot experience living the way that we want to live, all for the sake of building something. I don't care what it is you want to build, but if you are in any environment that puts performance driven grinding and hustle, and yes, it is in the church, widely in the church. Where did I learn it? First, foster care, first as a kid, and in the church. That's where I performed the most. Yep, that's where I was performed the most and put in boxes. Performance sounds like working 6 days a week, going to school full time, and then helping out on your day of rest because that's what they tell you. Well, you got to use your gifts in the church, so you got to help out. So I did. I helped out in the church. Then I joined the worship team, which I actually had a blast with that and all the things. And then I started using my gifts. I was given the microphone where I started speaking. I was in performance mode, but didn't realize it. I was able to share words of encouragement, edification. People enjoyed it. People liked it. But it wasn't until I started feeling a stirring that I was done performing. And I started realizing that I was being put in boxes from people. Because when I started doing and saying things that they didn't like or didn't agree with, I felt argued with. And I'm like, what's going on here? But I just didn't fit in their boxes. So let's keep moving. So tip number 3, do not despise small beginnings. It is not just some beautiful, glittery, cute Bible verse. No, it is a nervous system safeguard. We spend so much time despising our small beginnings and hating our small parts, our small efforts, that when we do things, whether how small it is, we start comparing and we start beating ourselves up for not being farther than where we are. That is not a fun place to be, and it burns us out faster than anything else. Tip number 4, signs you're abandoning yourself for the goal. Your body will say no. It's there. Are we paying attention? But our mouth keeps saying yes, and we keep saying yes when we would rather say no to things. We call it loyalty or faithfulness. Like I said, happens in the church. People use scripture to deflect and sugarcoat their yeses and their nos. And it's like, but they also burn themselves out at the cost of performing. And why? Why is that? Fear, probably. So you'll sense in your body when it's a no, when it's a hell no. But we gotta be paying attention, and we gotta pay attention. First place it will show up is in your gut. Last tip: what it looks like to build unmuted. It means honoring your limits, telling the truth about your capacity, and it is truly allowing God to work, to grow the work without you destroying yourself, to prove you're worthy. Self-betrayal, self-abandonment is us destroying ourselves. It's us not paying attention to our capacity. It's us saying yes to perform, to burn out. And that keeps capacity is at a level 4, and you're trying to operate in performance at a level 10. You are abandoning and betraying yourself. But what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove when you are building something? I've had to ask myself these same questions, and believe you me, it has taken me a long time to get here. And so, it's a journey for sure, but building our dreams and our vision doesn't have to come at the cost of betrayal, abandonment, excuse me, and it doesn't have to come at the cost of illness or staying in that frazzled state. It doesn't have to come at a cost. Now, there is a cost associated to building things, and it's the cost of faith, like determination. Like when you wake up, it's that burning thing inside of you that it's like, man, I got to get this messaging out there today. So whatever it is you're building, whether it's a podcast or a business or whatever it is, and you'll find joy in it. And yes, there will be moments where you feel burdened and like energy, and you're like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to come to pass? But you just keep going. You just keep building one brick at a time. Like, for example, my show, my podcast, 497 downloads right now. We're 3 away from 500. That's over 240. Is it? No, we are like at 253 downloads in 90 days. That's unheard of. For me. So that's why I keep building. Plus, I got a dream in my heart to keep going. And yes, I almost abandoned myself today looking at the algorithm and the social media and what other people are doing. And it's like, stop it. And I had to remind myself, Tiffany, stop despising your small beginnings. And we can, ask God to remind us a prayer. Pray if you need to, right? Do what you need to do, but stop abandoning yourself at all costs just to get your dream and vision built. It's not helpful to you or anyone else around you. That actually takes a little bit longer, I think. Gets us in detours. But then again, it's the learning. It's the lessons. And so thank you so much for being here today. And so I did share a little bit of the how, but you'll want to get more with the Burnout Rebellion Starter Kit. It's yours, immediate download access, but it's where you get the how to uncover how to keep going, how to not abandon yourself, how to stop performing. Within the first 10 minutes, you're going to hear that, how to find yourself and how to get back time and energy, which is what I call a reclamation, how to reclaim your voice, how to find your voice again. And it's all without burning out. That's in the Burnout Rebellion Starter Kit. I'm going to post a link in the show notes in the description for you to go and get it today. It's only $10. Why not? It's January 2nd, so why not go and get that? And trust me, the podcast is the first step. It is I call it the icebreaker. But the next step to get in my world and have access, like more access, direct access to me, is in that recording, like lifetime access. So I'll post it in the link. I'll post the link in the notes, like I said. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, hello. How are you? Thank you for being here. It's called the Burnout Rebellion Starter Kit. Yes. And if this is your first time on my show, say hello. And where are you tuning in from? There are people from all over the world tuning in here, which is totally cool. I love it. I love how you can build your dream with a contraption known as a phone. How cool is that? Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you. May your new year be blessed and amazing and prosperous and abundant. Yes, indeed. So thank you so much for being here.